Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
What's a Blerd? That's a black guy who's also a nerd, reading comics, watching anime. Haven't you heard? It's Jeremy J and Miriam talking to Delirium. Naruto, then Marvel, then DC. Are you hearing him? Pop culture reference pull them out periodically. We sync up movies with the comics canonically, and we watch a lot of TV. It's our virtual reality. I guarantee one day we'll have a TV show on NBC.
Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide. Two guys in a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
Oh, now it's recording. I mean, but like for real, there are too many different types of reboots to talk about them all. But I think the best thing about reboots are that they provide a sense of nostalgia. They like re-educate people about a certain cartoon, or they reintroduce a certain storyline or moral guideline or whatever you want to say. But like they just bring it back and like allow a new generation or an older generation to be reintroduced or to revisit the storylines.
And with that, we welcome you to another episode of Blerd Survival Guide. Welcome all, and we're hopping right into the episode.
Yeah.
I'm your.
If you didn't get it, we're talking about reboots.
I'm your co-host Jeremy.
I'm your co-host Jay.
And yeah, like Jay said, we are just hopping right into the episode today, talking about reboots and really how they are just keep on coming.
They keep on coming, but first I want to say, welcome back. It's another week. How was your week?
Oh, my week was pretty good. It's
happy Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah,
it's a long
Memorial
weekend.
Day weekend. Yeah, it is a long weekend. I took a mental health. I'm calling it a mental health day yesterday.
I think
my
that's
last
fair.
shift because it was too many people.
Your job is stressful, bro.
Yeah, even though
long hours, late nights.
Yeah, and I needed it.
Yeah.
So mental health day. We all need one. If you need to take one.
I mean, I spent the day because it's a long weekend. I spent the day watching new anime that I hadn't gotten a chance to really dive into yet.
Yeah,
so
I've seen a lot of people get into Demon Slayer.
I started it. I started two. I think we watched 2 episodes of it last night, right? Maybe 3.
At least, no, I think the first 2.
I've been watching JoJo's Bizarre Adventure all day, and I was like, let's try and dip a toe into Demon Slayer. And I was like, because I'd heard such good things, you know.
No, I mean, it definitely made it work. And I mean, I think I spent the day yesterday. I finally got to spend time with my mom. I hadn't got to hang out with her for a minute.
That's fun.
Yeah, for all your I won't say mama's boys, but I mean, we low-key are mama's boys.
I feel that.
You just don't get to hang out with your mom sometimes. You get to, because you live out on your own now, you get to hang out with them and have a good day.
Really appreciate them as adults and
yeah.
people as opposed to your parents. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's just
I
a
got
whole
to do the
different
same thing
aspect.
with my granddad today. You know, it was great. We went thrift shopping.
Hey,
and
ain't
so,
nothing wrong with a little thrifting.
No, it's a lot of fun.
There's a whole song about it.
Macklemore.
He's
not doing the same things that he was doing, like what,
yeah,
5-6 years ago.
The moves that he was making just kind of stopped.
Well, a steady decline, if you will.
I saw a picture of him on Instagram. It was the most recent season of American Idol that just finished, one of the finalists. He performed with her, and it was just like, huh.
Maybe he's trying to reboot his career.
I don't know. But before we actually get into the episode, I want to talk about, because we both just saw this movie. We're not going to give any spoilers about it. Cruella.
Cruella.
Yeah.
That's a reboot,
That-
kind of.
I mean, it's
a
more of
reboot
it's
and
an origin story, right?
Definitely an origin story, and we can get into those too on another episode. But like,
I definitely
it was-
want to.
Yeah, but it was a good. Like I saw it today.
So
Jay
what
saw it
What
the
did you
night
think? I saw it yesterday. I want to know what you think.
I thoroughly enjoyed it, and actually, like I felt like a movie critic while I was in there. Like I was in there taking notes.
Oh my god,
It was good. Like I haven't seen this. That's the thing. I've been watching. We've been watching a lot of comic book movies and TV and cartoons and stuff like
and
that.
animes and
animes.
yeah.
And it was just refreshing to see, even though it's still Disney intellectual property,
Right.
And I mean, it's not really a reboot, but like a character we've seen before,
Right.
It was an original story, and that was just refreshing to me. That was one of the big things.
How refreshing!
It was refreshing
That's
to see
what I
something like
appreciate.
original to a degree.
I mean, it was an original origin story for a classic villain that we all really enjoyed as a villain.
Yeah.
And you want to know what it took
what
to
caused
get
her to
her
get
to
there,
be. I mean,
Because
that's
low
something
key,
that's
she's honestly one of the darkest villains. If
I
you
mean,
want to
like,
think
this is
about it for
this
like
is the
101
thing that-
Dalmatians.
it's possible, right?
Right.
It's like, I mean, it's not like a Maleficent. It's not like, a
Because Maleficent. I mean, I haven't, and I will watch it sooner rather than later. But I haven't seen the Maleficent origin story yet.
Right.
But and this is me basing it off the original Sleeping Beauty movie. Mm-hmm. She's only mad because she didn't get invited to the birthday party. Baby girl.
There's so much more detail to that is explored in the movie. Because I've seen the
Right.
movie, I don't remember all the details.
And I mean,
of
they
it.
changed the lore a little bit. But
That's
like,
what I understand.
yeah.
That's what I understand.
But back to Cruella.
Cruella, I mean, my favorite thing I think about it was it really like makes you empathize with Cruella. It really makes you like see how she was this promising young woman,
Right.
and what despite her circumstances, right, and then she just overcomes all these things, and then there's a twist in her life, and it just sends a whole other spiral of a whole flurry of emotions that just kind of impacts her from then on.
Right.
As far as we know.
Right. And I liked how it led up to like right at the end of the movie where it leads up to 101 Dalmatians.
Right.
You saw the post credit scene.
That little tag.
Yeah. The mid-credit scene.
There is a mid credit scene for those who watched the movie. So if you watch it,
if you do go see the movie, definitely wait around for the mid credit scene, because I mean, you don't always know if there's going to be. So
right.
I'm here to tell you.
We've been conditioned to sit through credits now because of Marvel. And,
pretty much. Yeah.
And I mean that helps the movies a lot. I mean, you get like the guys in the credits, they get the recognition. You're able to see those too.
Right.
But back to the actual movie part. And this isn't a spoiler for anybody who hasn't seen it yet. I know it just came out. It's on Disney Plus for the premiere access, but you can watch it in theaters as well. Just a couple of things. One quote that stuck out to me, and it was towards the beginning of the movie.
Okay.
And this is a secondary character, Artie. From the from the store.
Yeah.
His quote stuck with me, and I low-key want to get it tattooed somewhere.
Oh, what you trying to get?
Normal is the cruelest insult of all.
Bro, right?
I was like that. Like as soon as I was like, wow.
I mean, like the straight up Halloween Town. Normal is vastly overrated.
Exactly.
I'm with it. I'm so with it.
Like,
and I mean, if that doesn't draw a picture of Cruella,
basically,
I don't know
that should be the tagline of the movie. Like, if you see a poster, like you used to say Cruella, the tagline.
Well, like,
normal is the cruelest insult of all. Like, ooh.
I mean, she really does break a mold. I think my favorite part about this movie are the lines that are drawn from her origins to the cartoon and to the live action 101, 102 Dalmatians.
Right.
Like the things with her driving, the things with like her upbringing.
That was hilarious.
Bro, I was like, that makes way too much sense.
And I like how Emma Stone was able to basically embody this animated character, because the way she like started walking and stuff too, it's like, oh my god, she looks like Cruella.
She truly became Cruella.
Like, kudos to Emma Stone.
Emma Stone is one of my favorite actresses out there. I find her to be very talented. She's won an Oscar. She won an Oscar for not even my favorite movie, which was La La Land.
I mean, that's a lot of people's not favorite movie.
But I mean, all the same, like, I mean, she is a very talented actress, and I think that a lot of people were really worried about her playing Cruella de Vil.
Right, because I mean, she's an American actress playing an British. I mean, it's vice versa of what we've been seeing in America. You got a whole bunch of British actors and actresses playing American people. It's all right, it's our turn.
Yeah,
we can do it too.
She does it so well. I think
I also really enjoyed the how the continuity that they maintained with her minions.
Oh, with Horace and Jasper,
yes, man. I mean, they really looked like the Horace and Jasper from the original animated movie.
Like the lankiness of Horace and like the big and like oafishness.
The oafishness of Jasper, exactly. They really caught that and paid attention to that. And then, like, found actors, like, and the casting in that role for those roles was spot on.
I mean, needless to say, so we can like get to our actual like meat of our episode. It's okay. we love this movie. We love this movie. I'm gonna rate it like a solid 8.5 out of 10. There were some faults with it. I would say like
I give it. I think I left out of there saying a. Maybe a 7.5 out of 10. 7.5 out of 10. I mean, it's a good movie.
It's a good movie. It's definitely worth the watch, guys.
And the soundtrack is also very fun.
The music, it helped push the movie. It helped set you in that like.
It did. It set a lot of tones, right?
Yeah,
it set a lot of really good tones.
It helped. And great movie. Let's move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Reboot season. We got reboots on top of reboots on top of reboots that keep happening. A couple episodes back, I talked about Ducktales briefly. And it's actually one of the newer reboots that just finished last year. It's on Disney Plus. It's just
I still need to watch this. We just got through watching a YouTube video that broke down a bunch of reboots, right?
Right.
And the way the guy was selling Ducktales, I really need to watch this cartoon. And I think a lot of people would be pleasantly surprised by this cartoon.
Definitely, yeah. Like I said, I just finished it a couple weeks ago. And it was better than I expected it to be. I mean, I understood, like, I'm a big Disney fan myself already. And, like, I love DuckTales, but, like, the lore that they put into this reboot, and not to give any spoilers of it, but you definitely should give it a watch if you're a 90s cartoon fan. They have because they're probably not
tribute to a lot of
the 90s cartoon Disney TV shows, such as there's a Gargoyles reference toward the end of the series.
Really?
Oh yeah.
What?
You'll see. And it's the same. It's the same voice actor who played the main gargoyle. On the Gargoyle.
Oh man! Yeah. What's his name? Hercules?
I believe so. Something of that.
Something like that, right? Something like that.
But it had that. You have Darkwing Duck is a supporting character in this TV show.
Makes an appearance. Okay.
He becomes a supporting character at one point.
So like reoccurring.
Yeah,
okay.
Ludwig Von Drake, who's a deep cut of Disney. He's like the Swedish/German European talking duck that you see in like a bunch of like House of Mouse type stuff. What else? They had a Tailspin.
Okay.
Yeah, couldn't get out there. They had a Tailspin episode.
That was a whole cartoon series.
Yeah, they had a Tailspin episode. They had a Darkwing Duck episode, which, funny enough, coincides with our episode today about reboots. The Darkwing Duck episode was they were making almost like the Dark Knight reboot, like a Batman reboot.
Yeah.
But for Darkwing Duck
in the show.
In the show, it was like they're making a Darkwing movie. Because Darkwing Duck was a TV in this universe.
So it was a reboot. It was an episode about a reboot in a reboot.
Right. The whole Inception. And what's funny is that episode.
Inception.
But that's funny because the episode, the director that's directing Darkwing the reboot, well, they modeled that duck to look like Christopher Nolan.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, played by the voice actor of that director is Edgar Wright, who directed like Baby Driver, Ant-Man. Yeah, they got an actual director
to play a director
who looks like Christopher Nolan. Like they had him dressed like Christopher Nolan.
So the next step really obviously is that we get a Darkwing Duck cartoon reboot.
They would, because they low-key did a backdoor pilot in one of those episodes. And that's the thing, because at the end of that episode you had he's a stupid duck, I can't remember his name right now, that crashes all the planes, but he basically was like, yeah, I'll be over here in Duckburg in the morning, and then I'll come over to this city at night. And he was like, all right, what you gonna do for sleep? I'll sleep on the way there, because he's terrible at driving.
While he's driving.
He's gonna sleep while he drives the plane.
Right.
Ridiculous.
But no, that just goes to show that like reboots can be done in a great fashion.
They can be, but there's a flip side to the reboots, right?
Right. There's also a flip side where reboots happen and
they fail.
They do fail
epically.
One would say, even though it's still on the air, because I mean it's popular among today's generation, Teen Titans Go. A lot of people
don't like it.
They don't like it. They hated it when it came out.
I really enjoy it, but you have to.
You have to give it. That's the thing. You have to give it a chance.
You have to get disillusioned.
That too.
You have to give up the because like what if you're coming to this show as a reboot, right? You're expecting original Teen Titans,
right? And you're expecting like the TV
heavy metal, like extraordinarily like
deep storylines,
like really like comic book like plots.
Yeah,
but it's Teen Titans Go isn't that?
No, it's not at all.
It's 100% like more Americanized, episodic cartoon style.
Right. They went with the whole. I mean, the animation's different. They brought back the entire voice cast,
which I think serves
minus the guy minus Ron Perlman who played Slade. The entire voice cast came back to do this show, which means they had faith in it.
Right. I think that serves to say there might be something worthwhile watching.
Right, and they're able to play onto the fact that this is a reboot. They actually have
they have a whole episode
where like the guy who controls the TV, Control Freak. He's like he pops up on the TV. He's like, "Hi, Teen Titans. Guess what?
Remember how cool you used to be?
Right, like this is what you were, and I rebooted you." And, like they're able to play with that, and it's hilarious. Like guys, give it a chance. I understand people don't like it,
right?
But that's because you're. I won't say you're stuck in a nostalgic mood, but you low-key are stuck in a nostalgic feeling of wanting these original characters and wanting it to continue. And I mean, we're just in a world
that
where
was kind of the thing about Teen Titans. It really kind of ended prematurely, right? A lot of people felt like.
I mean, the last episode of the original Teen Titans had Beast Boy running into that bright light, and that was it.
Right. And I mean, it's a show that got canceled.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it got canceled during the writer's strike.
Probably. I mean, because it was out during between 2003 2006. I mean, it had this 3-season run, just like most cartoons do. I'm not going to go on that rant again because I know it makes me angry. But it ended once the dust settled with the writer's strike and everyone's getting their shit together again. They're able to bring it back. You're bringing it back. It just so happens to be in this new format that a lot of people can't handle. But it came at a time where we did need some lighter cartoons.
It did.
That generation of like the darker cartoons, darker tones.
Well, I mean, there was like a whole conversation about like what. Remember we talked about how cartoons really shape and mold the next generation.
Right.
It's like, what is the message that we're trying to get across?
And that's the thing. By the time this reboot came about, those who watched the original Teen Titans from 2003 to 2006, who were between the ages of 10 to 15 are now adults who are between the ages of 18 to 25.
Exactly.
So I mean, we can't
make cartoons on a network that's meant for children.
Right. I understand it's called Cartoon Network. It's not called Kids Cartoon Network. It's Cartoon Network's for everybody. Cartoons are for everybody.
True.
They're trying to.
But their primary demo are between the ages of like 5 and 18.
Right. Or like even that, like between 5 and 11. Because I mean, I understand 18 is still kids, but like
I mean, I'm just saying you're getting more into adult.
But like I said, that generation that we grew up on, it was more so like I said between 2003 2006, which was technically that was Teen Titans, but like that whole range spans from like 2003 to like 2009 2010, right before the 2010s hit.
Mm-hmm.
That generation of cartoons where it had that same kind of style, like the American anime style.
Yeah.
It was about this group called Men of Action. They
right. You were talking about this yesterday.
Yeah, they did Ben 10, like the original Ben 10, the original Teen Titans, Generator Rex.
Generator Rex, yep.
That like basically those main 3 cartoons.
These breeded anime American like style cartoons that really came out and were really popular.
Yeah, and I mean they had cohesive storylines where like
there were multi-episode plots,
right?
That like you would get continued next week kind of deal.
Yeah, and it was like a post Justice League animated series kind of world we were trying to get used to. And now we're in a world where it's just like, hey, we need these bright colors to basically keep the attention of the children now,
which is fascinating.
Yeah,
it really is,
and it just goes to show.
Brings me on another subject. No, finish what you were going to say.
But it goes to show that cartoons are growing over time
and evolving as always.
That's what I was trying to find.
Well, we were kind of talking about what last week
or last night. We had it I mean, we both went out last night, got drunk, came home, and started talking about reboots and cartoons.
I mean, so like. I think another reboot that I would talk about that I just don't like is the Ben 10 reboot.
Right, and
because we were talking about last night, like you've got Ben 10 continuations.
Right, those continuations like Ben 10 Alien Force, Ben 10 Ultimate Alien, the movies. There wasn't like live action movie that coincided with the original Ben 10.
Which actually wasn't half bad for what it was.
Right.
I mean, it was at the
it was a
same time
Cartoon
as
Network live action show. I mean, movie. But,
which came out, I think, around the same time as the live action, maybe a little bit after the live action Fairy Odd Parents with Drake Bell.
Probably around that same time. But I mean, also, like I said,
Nickelodeon was trying something.
Nickelodeon was trying something. Cartoon Network was trying something. They didn't have that decom budget.
No.
That's what kind of hindered them from making movies.
They did the best they could.
They did, and I mean, you can technically call those movies as well. Well, the Ben 10 movie, the live action movie, was more so of a continuation.
It was
like a one-off story too.
It was, and there wasn't really enough time for it to be considered a reboot,
right? But the same goes for like the Grow Up Timmy Turner, because they did 3 movies on that.
Jeez.
Yeah, because they did was
it Drake Bell? Was Drake Bell every time?
Yep.
Oh my god.
The first one was like Grow Up Timmy Turner. Second one was it was a Christmas one. I can't remember. And then the third one was they did a Hawaiian vacation, and technically Timmy died and became a fairy because it was like some kind of magic. It was a magic rock on whatever like vacation island they were on. What? It was weird.
I don't what?
I gotta find people. We need to talk about this. I need to find it. Find this episode and send it to me.
Yeah, I will. Because I think I watched them on I bought them Google Play or something. Maybe on Amazon. I gotta watch them. I gotta find it again. But yeah,
I mean, it might be on that Nickelodeon thing on Amazon, and I've got that.
Because like I said, I've seen all 3 of them.
Oh my god!
Me being my cartoons.
Respect that.
Yeah, I respect your diligence,
and I respect because you have the creator. He was still able to put his toe in it, and he cameoed in the movies.
Butch Hartman?
Yeah, Butch Hartman. Yeah, he cameoed in the movies. If you remember the first one,
I love Butch Hartman's TikTok.
It's he's cool. But his the first and second one live action, he came in as it was either it might be the third one when they did the tropical vacation. He was basically criminally insane, mentally insane.
What? Oh gosh!
They were all trying to get on the plane.
Please tell me he thought the world was a cartoon.
Essentially,
yes.
It's like he almost saw the fairy, he saw the fairies that was
he was attuned to that part of the reality.
And because there were the orderlies that were looking at Mr. Crocker. He was looking at them, and you see Mr. Crocker going crazy doing the whole fairies thing, and
oh my god!
And that's the thing, they do that in the live action movie too. It's like he actually goes crazy, the fairy.
They do the little freak out, freeze frame motion, Mr. Crocker.
Fairy godparents.
That's hilarious. But yeah, I mean, I don't think that. Back on to what we were talking about, I mean, we're still on the subject of reboots. I mean, the Ben 10 series, I just hated the changing animation style. I hated how they kind of disconnected from, I think, the original storyline, which was him trying to master the Omnitrix and save the universe. I mean, it became a much less action-packed cartoon.
Oh, it definitely became more, it went like Teen Titans Go. It just became a truly episodic TV show rather than a whole linear. Right. Why do I have this Omnitrix? What am I going to?
I mean, it wasn't action packed, man, and I mean that's my bag, which is interesting to think about. Like I really do enjoy an action packed cartoon.
Right, and I mean, I like cartoons that have a whole linear plot line. They go from beginning to end.
Right. Whether or not they're action packed or not, as long as it's continuity has a sense of continuity across the entire season.
I'm gonna have to create a button for this, but Steven Universe.
Steven Universe button.
Right, just linear plot line through and through.
Right. Which brings me to another
Gravity
reboot.
Falls through and through.
Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Oh boy.
I mean, you got the 1969, 1970, which was the year that Scooby-Doo Where Are You came out.
That's the OG.
Would be so proud of this, I think.
Oh yeah. Because those original Hanna-Barbera, Hanna and Barbera, they created. That's one of their first properties was Scooby-Doo, the Scooby Gang, Scooby-Doo. I truly believe that. I don't know
how Scooby-Doo Where Are You started. Did it start out as a comic strip?
No, it was like I said, Hanna-Barbera. They just had a whole bunch of
cartoons coming out at the time, right?
Yeah, they were
the powerhouse at the time.
Yeah.
You got Flintstones, Jetsons, Scooby-Doo Where Are You,
Josie and the Pussycats.
All the spin-offs that came out.
Everything you can think of that happened between like 1969 and 1985. Yogi Bear, all that. Like,
yeah, that's Hanna-Barbera.
Everything that's on Boomerang is a Hanna-Barbera production. That's basically what the Hanna-Barbera channel is.
Wacky Races. I mean, God,
Hanna-Barbera.
Love Wacky Races. Great. That's a cartoon that got a movie that was actually really good.
It did.
It did get a movie. It was a live-action movie. Wacky Races. You should check it out.
I will. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah, they got a.
Because I know they had the new Scoob, which is another reboot. It's a reboot movie.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have a lot of opinions about Scoob.
They could have.
Am I thinking of another?
Well, because in Scoob, when you said Wacky Races, like Dick Dastardly.
That's what I'm thinking of. It's not a movie because they added it into Scoob.
Yeah,
right?
Dick Dastardly, who was the main villain in Wacky Races, because the main villain in Scoob.
Because they're trying to open up a whole
Hanna-Barbera
universe.
Yeah, they're trying to make a Hanna-Barbera universe. They had
that's where my
They had Captain Caveman in that one scene.
That's where my brain's going.
Yeah,
that's why I was thinking that there was a movie about it.
Yeah, so I'm thinking because I think they're still trying to do a whole Hanna-Barbera universe. I mean, I hope so, because I do want to see like a. I would love to see like a Flintstones movie, like
another Flintstone movies could be great.
That's another reboot because they did the live action Flintstones.
Oh my God.
With Halle Berry as like the office secretary.
Looking so fine.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. I had what's his name from Roseanne. It was Roseanne's husband playing
Fred Flintstone.
Fred Flintstone.
Rick Moranis was Barney.
Was he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was able to do the voice like, "Hey, Fred." Yeah, he was able to do Fred.
I mean, those were very successful, I think, too,
yeah,
right?
I mean,
like,
it was just one. They did like technically two, because it's like it was the Flintstones, like the original
Flintstones in Vegas,
Viva Rock
Vegas.
Because they changed Fred. That whole cast changed because like even Betty was different, Wilma was different. The whole cast, they changed the whole cast.
They did, and it was less popular.
It was one of the Baldwin brothers that played Barney.
I remember that.
He looked more the part, but it was still. I watched it.
As family, I said, do you want to get off the subject of this? Rock yeah.
Rock yeah.
If you've seen Road to Multiverse on Family Guy.
You ready to get the rock out of here? Rock yeah. Yeah, but wow, I can't believe it's already been almost.
I mean, dude, like reboots go. This conversation is so powerful, and I think and it's so worthwhile because.
Do you want to continue? Do you want to continue this for the weekly blurb instead of doing a weekly blurb this week?
I'm game. I'm game.
All right, so yeah, what we're gonna do, we'll take a quick pause, we'll breathe, so we can discuss a little more of this. You're gonna hear a word from our sponsor, Anchor, and we will be right back with not the weekly blurb, but a continuation of this conversation. We'll be right back, guys. I'm at the microphone. That reminds me. Did you remember when they moved Doug from Nickelodeon to Disney?
I did.
What were your thoughts?
I didn't pay attention to it as much. I know that much. And I mean, I know that there are big opinions on it.
Well, they changed it. Like,
yeah.
Hella.
That's what I'm saying. I know.
And you know the handing off of the TV show was the movie.
The Doug movie was the handing off of the TV show?
Because that movie was Disney's Doug. It wasn't Nickelodeon's.
Why does Disney have to own everything?
Because it's Disney.
Right. Disney be Disneyin'.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody.
Welcome back. We are going to continue instead of our normal weekly blurb. No fancy theme song this week. Instead of our weekly blurb, we're going to continue our conversation on reboots. And one question I have for you, Jay, is what constitutes as a good reboot?
You know, I think that there are several factors that have to be in play for something to be a good reboot.
Go on.
My number one requirement is that I don't feel like the original was better.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
I don't feel like that the original did a better job of describing or growing the characters and the plots that are present in the cartoon.
Okay.
Like with Teen Titans Go, which I do enjoy as a reboot, and I do think is one of the better reboots, I still think that Teen Titans did a better job of describing the characters, their developments, and the stories that propelled them through those.
Right, got more like in depth of like
I think that like they just do a better job of making you feel familiar, and also mirroring the tones that are present in cartoon culture at the time.
Right.
Like a good example of a good reboot for me is Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated.
Ooh.
It's a #1 reboot for me because not only do I feel the nostalgia of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? And what's new Scooby-Doo even, and like in other Scooby-Doos,
all the other Scooby-Doos.
But I also
not looking at you, Be Cool Scooby-Doo, because that was just
trash. But like when I watch Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc., I'm also like impressed with the changes that were made, like the artistic changes, the writing changes, the character development that occurs, as opposed to what was present in their ancestors,
in the previous iterations.
Previous iteration,
yeah. Because
exactly.
I mean, like the previous iterations, and just like the Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? Even in a pup named Scooby-Doo,
right?
You had just the generic, like Fred was the leader and knew everything. Daphne was the damsel in distress. Velma was the smart one who lost her glasses, and then Scooby and Shaggy were scared but lovable
oafs.
Yeah,
exactly.
But then once you get to Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated, you have Fred, who is even though he's the leader, he has his faults
and his challenges, and he has these things that make him a much more human character.
Right. I mean, spoilers for those who haven't seen it, because it's on Netflix. It was on Cartoon Network for a hot minute. Go watch it if you haven't. But like spoilers, like Fred's parents that we meet at first aren't his actual parents.
Exactly.
And like even though they're the mayor and like the most important people in the town,
right?
But also like his faults are that like he's addicted to making traps.
Exactly.
And they kind of touch on that. They don't even they like touch on the fact that like
it's a whole art.
Trap. There was like even a quote that we saw in one of the videos. It was just like, yeah, I put this, like Fred says, I put this trap in a science fair, but they disqualified it because it doesn't technically count as science.
Exactly.
Even though, I mean, yeah, like technically it would, because they're like pulleys.
I mean, exactly. But apparently not. Yeah. Whatever.
Crystal Cove
rules.
But like I said, it gives Fred faults. It gives Daphne is not just a damsel in distress. She's and they base this Daphne kind of off of like the live action Daphne, because that Daphne like was like
that Daphne had more depth. Like she wanted to break the mold again.
Which I think that that reboot really did set Scooby-Doo in another direction.
The live action?
The live action.
Oh, yeah, no,
the original live action.
It gave Scooby-Doo a new standard. And I mean, those live action, that and Scooby-Doo 2, Monsters Unleashed, they really did. They set a precedent for what future Scooby-Doo movies and TV shows did. And it brought an entirely new generation.
It broke the mold and set a new standard.
Yeah, and it brought an entirely new generation to watching Scooby-Doo instead of just watching the old reruns or watching Scooby-Doo. What's New Scooby-Doo came after those.
No, did it?
I think so.
So we had Scooby-Doo Where Are You for the 80s, and it was just like endless reruns.
Right. Well, endless reruns, and they had like this like a
pup named Scooby-Doo series.
Yeah, that was in the 90s, but like in between that was like a it was like Scooby-Doo and whatever famous other cartoon character, or they had like Scooby-Doo and the Harlem Globetrotters, they had Scooby-Doo and Batman and Robin.
Right.
It was like it was called The Adventures of like Scooby-Doo and whoever the famous person was that week. And it was like, and those were like hour-long specials, kind of sort of.
I remember. Oh yeah, no, I completely remember those.
But like I said, after the Scooby-Doo movie, the live-action movie, which was written by James Gunn, both of them, the director of Guardians of the Galaxy, he wrote. He was a head writer of those movies.
That makes sense.
That helps him with the ensemble of Guardians of the Galaxy, because I mean you can't really just he worked with a well-known ensemble group,
right?
The Scooby Gang,
right?
And that kind of proved to like Kevin Feige and the MCU was like, hey.
you can work with another ensemble.
With this iconic ensemble group. Let's see what he can do with no names.
A lesser known ensemble group, and now we love Guardians.
And we all know Star-Lord. We know Rocket Raccoon, Groot. Everyone that fell in love with Groot.
Everyone, boy. I mean, I am Groot is 100% like
we are Groot.
I bet it was like probably the most used phrase in 2017 when that movie came out.
I think it came in 2017. Well, no, 15.
So these reboots that come out. What constitutes them to be good, in my opinion, is something. It's almost like a feeling. Most of the time, a lot of the time, it is centered around the writing that elicits the feeling.
Right.
But overall, I mean, what I want to feel when I watch these are not. I want to feel a sense of nostalgia with like the comfort of knowing that it's being adapted to today.
Right.
And we're getting to explore new ideas that are present within this older cartoon. But not so much so that the nostalgia is lost on me of how much I enjoyed watching it when I was a child.
Right. And to move us on forward, with the last little bit of time I have left, we have a couple of lists for you guys of our top 3 reboots that we enjoy personally. Mm-hmm. We will post them on our social media. Let you guys. Let us know what you think about them. Jay, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Yeah, man. I think my top 3 reboots, and you know, people can debate on my number 1, but whatever. My number 3 top reboot would be the 2012 iteration of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Now, that one was that the CGI?
No, it was
not the big Buffy ones.
Not the big Buffy ones. It was the 2D. Still 2D TMNT that like
it was like edgy.
It was real edgy, real edgy, and it
was there like their theme song was like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Exactly. And I'm trying to find it here, but that was my number. That's my number 3 because I mean the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Their reboots are consistently adapted and consistently updated to the new,
modernized to whatever's happening.
To whatever's happening. Yeah. And I think that they do a great job of, telling a superhero story in a modern light. And I think that we've seen so many movies made out of them. We've seen so many cartoons made out of them.
I do enjoy those live-action movies.
I think that ultimately that they are a cartoon series and group of individuals that are timeless.
Oh, definitely.
And like are instantly relatable as they are the heroes in a half shell. They are the underdog heroes that are also teenagers.
Yeah. First and foremost, I mean that's the first and foremost teenage.
My number 2,
yeah,
real quick is Teen Titans Go.
Okay.
As people heard me, really talk earlier about why I enjoyed this cartoon.
Right, you and I both.
It's not perfect. I'm not saying it's perfect, but it's a show that can go on in the background that, at times suffices for what the original cartoon did.
Did you come with me to see the movie?
I did go with you to see the movie, and I enjoyed the movie.
The movie was funny.
It was a funny movie, and I mean, it did that thing like where it incorporated some new school elements that made it good.
Right. I mean, like,
but not too new school.
Like the Stan Lee cameo, even though he was Marvel.
Right. Lil, what's his name? Not Lil Nas.
I know what you're talking about. They play Green Lantern.
Yeah, with the braids, with the dreads.
Is it Young? No.
I feel so bad.
I do too. I feel old.
I feel so bad. People love this man.
Lil Yachty played
Green
Lantern. Nick Cage played Superman.
And then my number 1, and people can talk about whether or not it's a reboot or not. It may be considered a continuation, but I think it's one of the best reboots of all time, and it's Samurai Jack, which
season 5
of Samurai Jack, which came, what?
Like 2018.
2018. So like 10 years after the last episode occurred.
I believe so. Yeah.
And I mean, it brought back a lot of the original voice actors. It brought back.
The only one that didn't come back was the voice of Aku because he passed away.
Exactly. Exactly. And
but everybody else did come back.
Beautifully done. It's extraordinarily well executed. They took their time with the art and like the drawing and the animation. It's so gorgeous.
And they definitely made it for adults. It was on Adult Swim, but it was made for adults. It was more matured because it matured with its audience.
Exactly.
Which was
which is again what I'm saying. Like the evolution of the cartoon is happening, but it's not so much so that the nostalgia is lost.
Right.
And so that's why those are my top 3 reboots.
Nice.
What are your top 3 reboots?
I'm gonna quick fire mine because they're all truly cartoons, but they definitely impacted me in a very positive way. One that's probably underrated and no one really talks about because it is still aimed towards kids. My number 3 would be the newest iteration of Carmen Sandiego.
I have yet to watch that.
It's on Netflix. It really is an underrated show. Although it is it's not although, but like what it is more of a. It's still a main like linear TV show. Mm-hmm. Carmen is throughout these. It's only 3 seasons, 10 episodes each, as standard Netflix rules. But Carmen is basically searching for her past. She's.
I'm not too familiar with the original story.
I'm not either. Like this is what I'm basing from the new, from the reboot.
Right.
But essentially, instead of her like going on these weekly missions and learning about different areas that she goes to, she has to go to these places because it connects her to her parents, and she's trying to find out
a deeper story about herself.
Exactly.
She's
basically trying to find herself, and it's in this way. It's in a spy thriller type deal. Really cool. You guys should check it out. My number 2 is a one-off reboot, I've seen the Netflix reboot of the show as well. But the movie is what I'm going to be referring to is Mr. Peabody and Sherman.
I enjoyed the movie.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed that movie.
Yeah,
that's a classic reboot.
Right, and it brings back those 2 classic characters who were a side section of the Rocky and Bullwinkle show.
Right.
But it was also, like I said, it was popular enough to have its own.
That's impressive. People should definitely check that one out.
And it's a good movie. It was funny.
It was nostalgic. It was
still educational.
Heartfelt.
Yeah, it was still educational to a degree with the
with the science and everything in it. Yeah, it was that was really cool. I enjoyed that movie.
All right, and then my number 1, and we discussed it earlier in the podcast today, the 2017 reboot of Ducktales.
You gotta watch it,
guys. That TV show through and through it's hilarious. It gives the triplets, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, their own personalities with 3 different voice actors, rather it being one voice actor for all 3. Webby, who's also a character from the original show, is her own personality, and she's like cynical, but also funny, but also like she doesn't know social cues because she's been inside of the mansion for 10 years, and it's hilarious.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, because the characters that are already there, from the original series that have been moved to the reboot are. They're better, I would say.
Okay.
The character they like I said, they bring back characters from previous cartoon shows from Toon Disney, like Darkwing Duck, Tailspin, etc. And the whole show just kind of ups its level and ups the ante.
It's a proper evolution from the original.
And it's even though it still has episodic episodes, it's still linear because the things that they've done from like season 1, season 2 lead up to season 3, where like everything just kind of blows up at the end, and it's amazing. It's an amazing show.
I love that.
Great episode.
I've enjoyed this episode. I hope everyone else enjoyed this episode as much as we did.
Please remember to like, follow, share all of our episodes. We're going to be on Spotify, wherever you get your podcast. Thank you, Jay. Remember to follow us on all of our social media outlets at Blerd Survival Guide on Instagram, at Blerd Guide on Twitter, at Blerd Survival Guide at gmail.com for emails, and on Facebook. And follow us on our personal socials at JareBear3295 and
at JDub0283.
And it's just MRM. Miriam's not with us tonight. She is celebrating family times. And other than that, keep surviving, everybody.
Keep surviving, everybody.
Listen to the theme song.
2 guys and a mic with our producer. Step into the spotlight, survivalist troopers. Come and take a seat with the combo we provide every Tuesday. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.
It's the Blerd Survival Guide. It's the Blerd Survival Guide.